During this fun-filled Star Wars weekend, the stars have been out on the field. And it's all about pitching. Homer Bailey in the opener. Willie Peralta in a shutout. And Johnny Cueto spectacular last night. The Reds' bats have come alive in 2 of these 3 games. Alfredo Simon guns for win number 5. The Reds try and prevent Kyle Loesch from getting that number as well. It is a glorious weather day in downtown Cincinnati. And the Reds are trying to make it 3 out of 4 as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers, coming off a great outing from Cueto here last night. And hi again, everybody, alongside Chris Welsh and Jim Day. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball right here on Fox Sports Ohio. The Reds have picked up 1 game on the Brewers, and they'd like to pick up another one here today. We take a look inside the National League Central Division standings, and the Reds trying to gain ground on Milwaukee, and lately have been gaining ground on St. Louis.
Well, they have been. That's why this ball game in particular is so important for this Reds ball club. I mean, it's a big difference between taking 3 out of 4 as opposed to taking just 2 out of 4 when you get them in here for a 4-game set. But I'm not so sure that anybody who said the National League Central Division was one of the best teams in all of baseball. I mean, after all, there's only one team in this division that is over 500 right now. Everybody else is looking up at the Milwaukee Brewers.
And the Brewers still have the best record in all of Major League Baseball, despite losing 2 out of 3 to the Reds thus far. Pitching matchup today, another great one. We had it last night and another one today.
Well, a couple of veteran right-handers, 35-year-old Kyle Loesch. You know him, of course, former St. Louis Cardinal, former Cincinnati Red. He's trying to get his 5th win of the year. He's had a really good year so far. He's been very much on the corners with his breaking ball and his changeup. And Alfredo Simon, he has been way more than what the Reds ever expected, putting him in the starting rotation. The big guy's throwing the ball as well as he ever has.
Well, Alfredo's trying to fall in line from the starters in the first 3 games of this series. Jim Day has that story. When we come back, you're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
Of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Baseball weather has finally arrived at GABP. 75 degrees and gorgeous as the Reds and Brewers close down a 4-game set. Jim Day with you on the field, and I tell you what, the mark of a good team, obviously, you win with pitching and you win with defense. Best defensive club in the league right now, and the Reds pitching over the last 3 games, there's a reason they've taken 2 out of the first 3 games. You look at it, the starters have gone 8 innings each time out. Bailey turned it over to Broxton, Leak turned it over to Andrusic, and Cueto, masterful last night, turned it over to LeCure. Over the long haul, this will also rest your bullpen. Manager Bryan Price obviously likes these numbers.
This early in the season to get the type of production performance on a fairly consistent basis from a rotation has been big, and the offset to that, of course, is that you get some relievers that might go 5 or 7 days without seeing game action, but they'll be hoping for that at certain points in time during the season when we use them quite a bit more.
And Bryan Price and his Reds will go after a rare 3 out of 4 game series victory. These 4-gamers, toughest to win. Pretty good pitching matchup. Series for the taking for the Reds. Loesch versus Simon. Tom and Chris are up next with all the play-by-play action of Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
Ohio brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further by Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Well, this entire weekend has just been spectacular on the weather front, and not bad on the field, where the Reds have taken the first 2 of the first 3 in this series. Ron Renicky starting lineup presented by Meyer. Gomez, Jeanette, Lucroy to start it. Ramirez, Overbay, and Chris Davis in the middle. Kindle, Segura, and Loesch at the bottom. And here we go. First pitch swinging is Gomez straight up into the air. And playable under the bright sunshine for Votto. 1 pitch and 1 out. Well, Gomez doesn't waste any time at all, does he?
Well, neither of these teams really waste a lot of time by looking at pitches, but especially the Milwaukee Brewers. They come right out of that dugout ready to swing the bat. Gomez plays with so much enthusiasm and energy. I mean, he's just a guy that can't contain himself to take the first pitch down the middle.
The job Alfredo Simon has done, I'm not sure anybody saw it coming. But the numbers have just been terrific. 4-1 record. Look at the ERA, barely over 1.5. Opponents batting .183. He has surrendered just 2 home runs in 33+ innings. And among the leaders in all the National League, number 3 behind his teammate and the sensational Jose Fernandez of the Miami Marlins. 1-1 on Scooter Gennett.
What a great pitch right there. I mean, not enough to wake a guy up. It wasn't up around his neck or anything like that where you think you're out there being a headhunter. But I mean, he holds it a little bit long, probably not intentional, but Gennett gets out of the way, and it's, I guarantee you, in the back of his mind.
High fly ball, and Gennett says take that after brushing him back off the plate. And it's 1-0 Milwaukee as Gennett hits his 2nd home run of the year.
I guess it's only a great pitch if he followed up with another great pitch. Down and in, and to right field is probably the only place that Scooter Gennett has home run power, but he gets that enough to get it out of here and put the Brewers on top. Only the 3rd home run that Alfredo Simon has given up.
Now Jonathan Lucroy, the Milwaukee catcher, at .299, a home run and 8 runs batted in. He has 11 doubles on the year. He had a quiet game last night. 3 hits in game 2, but 0 for 4 against Johnny Cueto and Sam LeCure. 1-1 to Lucroy. Of course, Alfredo Simon, what with the knee surgery early in spring training to Matt Latos, and of course Latos was coming back from a cleanup job on his right elbow going into spring training, as that is a broken bat flare into right field, a base hit. Ryan Price decided to have Alfredo Simon begin spring training as a starting pitcher just in case, and that has turned out to be a brilliant move for the Reds.
Well, you're right about that, but it was also a move that was pretty well anticipated, because if you look around and look at the depth that the Reds had coming into the major league camp as non-roster players, and the prospects that are major league ready in the minor leagues right now on their way up, they're rather thin. I mean, the best pitching prospects are down at AA right now, so that's why Simon got that look early on, because they figured by far he was the best candidate if they needed somebody extra, and he's really filled in.
Aramis Ramirez homered here last night. It had been nearly 9 games since Ramirez playing through a tender elbow after getting hit on that elbow a couple of times within about a 1-week stretch. And he homered off Johnny Cueto in the 2nd inning. Two 2-0 on Ramirez. And there's ball 3. When he hit that home run, it snapped a career high tying 0 for 28 skid. 2 hits in his last 36 at bats, and both of them home runs. 3-1 to Aramis Ramirez. We were talking for a little while the other night about Ramirez and the career numbers that he has put together, and it certainly doesn't look like his career is anywhere close to being over. In the history of baseball, he has the 7th most home runs at the 3rd base position. 355 of them. And this was 355. Brought up last night that Ramirez has more home runs against Johnny Cueto than Johnny is allowed to any other batter during his career. That was number 5. 3-2. Runner going. In the air and playable for Joey Votto in foul ground. 2 are out. Let's take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by your Ford dealers for this Sunday afternoon. And certainly in center field, the first career start as a Red after he made his first appearance as a Red late in the game last night. Skip Schumacher out there in center field. Jay Bruce nursing a tender knee. He was originally in the starting lineup and then was replaced about an hour and a half before game time by Chris Heisey. One in, one on, two out. And now the first baseman, Lyle Overbay. 255 batter, 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. Strike one. Overbay spent all of last year playing for the New York Yankees. Put together his best seasons, his first go around with Milwaukee, and then a number of years as the everyday first baseman in Toronto. And it's 0-2. Hunter Wendelstedt calls the balls and strikes behind the plate today. Mike Estabrook, the umpire, at first. Crew chief Jerry Lane at second, and Mike DeMuro down at third. Just underway, a 1-out solo home run by Scooter Gennett has put Milwaukee in front 1-0. Luke Croy over at first with 2 away, and a ball and 2 strikes to Overbay. Frazier will get the force play, and that'll end the inning. But Gennett plays long ball. So now the Reds try and solve Kyle Loesch trailing 1-0. The new tilt against Kyle Loesch and the Brewers. Skip Schumacher, Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips. Brandon, a big night last night, had 3 hits, scored a couple of runs. Chris Heisey in a cleanup spot for Jay Bruce. Todd Frazier at third, Ryan Ludwig in left. The red-hot Pena behind the plate, Cozart at short, Alfredo Simon on the mound. And a one-time Red at my oh my after he left here and eventually landed in St. Louis. A career turnaround for right-hander Kyle Loesch began.
Career numbers for Kyle Loesch very impressive. 133 career wins against only 120 losses. And a multi-year deal here. He's making start number 370 in his major league career. And he seems to be getting better and better with age. 6 starts this year, 5 of those quality starts here for the Brewers.
Skip Schumacher makes his first plate appearance as a Cincinnati Red. He came on defensively late in the game last night. Career .285 batter is Schumacher, and he looks at a strike. You brought up the other night, making reference to Mike Leake, who pitches on the far first base side of the rubber. And a reason that Leake does that, apparently Kyle Loesch has bought into that thinking as well.
Well, he'll do it anyway from left-handers. I haven't seen him face a right-hander yet in this year, but he likes to make that changeup of his move better. The better angle on that changeup, his fastball too moves away from left-handers, and being over there helps him. Like that pitch right there. Now Loesch will throw fastballs only about 40 to 45% of the time, so he's mostly a breaking ball pitcher. Loves his slider and loves his changeup.
Fastball away there, 2-2 on Schumacher.
When Kyle Loesch was with the Reds, you know, you could almost tell early on whether he was going to have a good game or not just by looking at the radar gun.
Lined hard into left field, and that nearly sailed over the head of Davis, playing very shallow in left, but perfectly placed for that hard hit ball by Schumacher.
Runs the count to 2-2, gets a fastball up and takes it the other way. Very much like what you're going to see out of Skip Schumacher, hitting the ball where it's pitched. But Loesch used to have to be a pitcher that would have his good stuff that day in order for him to win. All of a sudden he went on left here, went to St. Louis, he got under the tutelage of Dave Duncan, and he turned him into a sinker ball pitcher. And his ground ball rate went something like from 45% to nearly 60%, seemingly overnight, and that reinvented Kyle Loesch.
Joey Votto down strike one, his average at 269, 4 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Well, the Reds need the middle part of this order to start to really kick it into a different gear from where we've seen over the first month. Votto, you go back to the 18th of April. As there's a hard hit ball that just eats up Jeanette, and Votto will beat the throw. Couple of hard hit balls to begin this game, and that one a base hit for Votto.
Well, Votto's got to be happy that finally he hits the ball hard and has something to show for it. I mean, his batting average is down where you'd expect it, but he's actually hitting the ball pretty hard lately. He was robbed of a home run here in the first night by Carlos Gomez going over the center field fence. Hit a couple of balls hard last night, including a line drive to left field. Nearly went out of the ballpark yesterday in left field. So you keep hitting it hard, it'll fall in for you.
Talked about Brandon Phillips. He had the 3-hit night last night. Phillips was retired his first time up, and then had single, run scored, single, double, run scored.
Well, guys don't like to take the day off because they don't want to miss an opportunity to put numbers up and to get out there and play. Brandon Phillips no exception, but you can't argue with the results. You get a day off and then you come back like he did yesterday. Rejuvenated, 3 hits. He was all over the place.
2-0 on Brandon Phillips. Reds trailing here in the bottom of the first inning. 1-0 on a Scooter Gennett 1-out solo home run in the top of the inning against Alfredo Simon. So rare to have a Sunday afternoon game start this late in the day. All that due to the Flying Pig Marathon in downtown Cincinnati. On Brandon. Phillips thought that was ball 4. Instead, it is strike 2.
I think there's 2 pitches in this at bat that Brandon Phillips really not very happy with Hunter Wendelstedt. First one was a check swing. He wanted to get checked down at first base rather than the home plate umpire call it. Our Fox Tracks has that at the bottom of the zone as a strike. Looked awfully low. Loesch does not walk many.
He's only walked 11 in his 40 innings of work so far this year. Votto running. And a ground ball to short. They'll easily turn the double play here, and that's all for the Reds in the opening inning. 1 hit, none left. 1-0 Milwaukee, end of 1. Warriors for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Bringing them home. Take a look at the team leaders in runs batted in. Todd Frazier leading the way with 16. Of course, Devin Mesoraco's played not even half the number of games as everybody else on the team, and he's tied for the 3rd most. So Frazier and the Reds on defense. They trail 1-0 as Milwaukee bats here in the top of the 2nd inning, and we'll lead things off with Chris Davis against Alfredo Simon. Davis only a .229 batter, 3 home runs, 8 runs batted in. He was a very, very pleasant surprise for the Brewers in a down year for them overall. But Davis, one of the bright spots. In 41 games after he settled in with the Brewers for good, coming up and down from the minors, he ultimately replaced the suspended Ryan Braun. Did 11 home runs, knocked in 27 runs in only 41 games. That's mighty good production in 41 games.
A lot of people feel like he may have just snuck up on the league by doing that. I mean, he's an excellent fastball hitter. He's got quick hands, good bat speed, can hit the ball a long way. But he looks to me like a guy that covers only half the plate.
Lined right at Heisey, one away.
And as a young hitter, you know, he's still a work in progress coming up here for the first time. But he's off to a pretty good start as far as impressing big league pitchers.
Caleb Gindel, brought up from the minor leagues when this series began. 1 of 6 with the major league club. Saw the shot of Ryan Braun. He is still traveling with a team. When the Brewers came here, he was nursing that injury. And they ultimately decided just yesterday to finally put him on the disabled list.
Now you take the number 3 hitter out away from your ball club, and your offense is going to suffer.
Another line drive, but another one right at a Reds corner outfielder, 2 away in the inning.
In fact, the Brewers, since Ryan Braun has missed, and he's missed 7 games now, they are batting as a team .204. So that's how much Braun means to the offense on this Milwaukee club.
Gene Segura inserted back into the starting lineup when the Brewers arrived here after Braun swinging the bat on the top step of the Brewers dugout last Saturday. Whacked Segura along the side of the head, cutting his eye, and a lot of swelling in and around the eye, and Segura thrown out by his counterpart, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Alfredo Simon. Toyota sign in right center field out by the power stacks. Whitney McElligott, I hope I said that right, Whitney, from Middletown, Ohio, will win the beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. And if you'd like to register for your chance to win, you can do so by stopping over at your Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Beautiful Sunday afternoon in downtown Cincinnati. 1-0 Milwaukee as the Reds bat in the last of the second inning. They'll have Heisey, Frazier, and Ryan Ludwig against Kyle Loesch. First pitch swinging right into the air is Heisey. And Aramis Ramirez the call and the catch. Take a look at the Milwaukee defense presented by Ford. Once again, it'll be Overbay back in the lineup at first. Gindel again in right. Davis did not start the game here last night. That was Logan Schaefer. And with a late afternoon start rather than 1 o'clock, game time at 4:10 today, both of the catchers from last night's game are in the lineup. Extra 3 hours to get ready to roll here today. I think both of these teams understand while it's not the end of the world if you win or lose today. But it certainly is a statement game for the Reds. Milwaukee comes flying high off of 2 out of 3 over the Cardinals despite all their injuries. 0-1 pitch straight in the air once more, and Gomez will handle this one 2 away. And even with Ryan Braun out, Reds would love to find a way to make it 3 wins in 4 games.
Well, from the Reds standpoint, I mean, it's not all that often that you get the first place team in your home ballpark. And you've won 2 out of 3. You've got a little momentum going. You've got one of your pitchers that have been really good on the mound. And this is a game that you're really going to try to win.
Two down on 3 pitches here in the inning for Loesch, and now it's Ryan Ludwig. And that is a foul ball. He's up there, first pitch swinging as well.
Well, they figure they're going to get a lot of strikes from Kyle Loesch. He's got an off-the-charts type strikeout-to-walk ratio, which is 7 strikeouts for every walk that he gives up. So he's around the plate, And your best shot at getting a fastball is probably early in the count rather than later in the count. So that's why you ought to be ready to swing.
Lowe's 35 years old now. He broke in initially as a very highly touted prospect with Minnesota. And swung on and fouled out of play. He was originally a Chicago Cub. And they didn't select him in 1996 until the 29th round. But then a huge deal. Because by 99, it gives you an idea of how highly thought of he was after 3 really good years in the minor leagues. First with the Cubs, and then the deal in exchange for Rick Aguilera and Scott Downs. That was a deal where the Cubs felt they were on their way to the postseason and they needed help in the bullpen. Reds got him from Minnesota in 2006 after some good moments and not so good moments with the Twins. He lost 12 games with the Reds in 2007, and they traded him to Philadelphia. Gone swinging Ludwig. 1-2-3 go the Reds. 1-0 Brewers at the end of 2.
Fox Sports Ohio. It's Reds Live. The pregame edition is brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Join the boys. First look at the lineups and so much more. It's Reds Live, the pregame edition. Jim Day with you high above left field. The reason I'm out here is because 4 o'clock game start was to accommodate the Flying Pig Marathon, and just over my shoulder is East Pete Rose Way, and that is where the finish line was for the Flying Pig. And the Reds were well represented as far as their employees go. We would like to salute them. These participants did the half marathon. Steve Bauman, he's down there in the dugout right now, one of the assistant trainers. Sean Brown, Rob Butcher, director of media relations. Charlie Frank, in charge of the Reds Community Fund. Sam Grossman, Kristen Snyder, Joey Steiner, Anna Weiss, Jerome Wright. And then there were 2 that ran the full marathon, Lance Bucher and Joe Katuska. And I tell you what, Lance Bucher, we salute him. He was trying to qualify boys for the Boston Marathon. He came within just over 60 seconds of qualifying for that, so over 26 miles. That is heartbreaking, but the dude finished. I couldn't drive 26 miles barely, let alone run. But we salute them all and everyone that participated in the Flying Pig Marathon, which is a huge event here in the Queen City.
Congratulations indeed to every one of them. And Joe, I know you'll get to Boston one of these days. I mean, have 60 seconds and you're running 26 miles. Man. I'm a little surprised that our buddy Dr. Timothy Kremchek is not running in that Flying Pig. At least a half.
He's in shape now.
I know he's a big biker, though, not a big runner.
Yeah. He's probably worried about having to, the stress on his knees and hips, and, he probably doesn't have another doctor to go to. He can't send himself to himself for a surgery.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Of course, Dr. Kremchek, the director of medical operations for the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, guys come from all over America to see him trying to continue their major league careers. Whether it's Tommy John surgery, shoulder surgery, whatever it may be. He's had me down there a couple of times. Just not trying to save some major league career, though.
Well, you need to go down on Tuesday. That's when he's got the best deal going.
Really?
Yeah, it's 2 for Tuesday. You'll do your shoulder, and you pick another body part.
Looking to put together my calf again. There's a pop-up into foul ground, and Frazier will handle it. 1 away. All right, today is it. It's your last chance to guarantee your Homer Bailey no-hitter dual bobblehead with a Homer Pick 6 plan presented by McDonald's. If you buy it today, you pick 5 additional games of your choice. You save a lot of money off the face value. The Homer Pick 6 plan is only available until midnight tonight. 765-7500 or visit Reds.com/pick6. If you're a family that, or you and your buddies, you come down to that many games a year, you ought to look into it. Fly ball in a deep left center field, and that ball is up against the wall by Gomez, and he will pull the chute into second base with a 1-out double.
Well, again, he was first pitch hitting, but he was anticipating a fastball like he got the first time. He popped it up to Joey Votto the first time up. This time he got a lot of it. Simon's ball really runs. I mean, that ball starts about center of the plate, but he gets inside on Gomez, but not enough.
Gomez, an all-star for the first time in his career a season ago, and he is off to a great start here in 2014. Among all leadoff batters in Major League Baseball, it is hard to find a category where he is not number 1 or number 2. Jeanette homered to right field his first time up. Pull to the right side. Gomez will advance 90 feet, but they're 2 away in the inning. Well, we invite you to stick around for our Miller time moment coming up later in the game. Last night it was that Johnny Cueto base hit into right field, knocking in a run. Gomez at third. 2 are out in the third for Jonathan Lucroy. He broke his back dumping one over the head of Brandon Phillips in right center field in the first inning. Back up through the middle, and that's a 2-out knock for Lucroy. And a 2-0 Milwaukee lead.
Well, you were talking about these catchers in this ball game who caught last night, catching a day game after a night game, even though this start time was 3 hours later. Lucroy, you know, with the absence of Ryan Braun in the lineup, you just can't afford to rest Lucroy very much. He's got to be in there to be a run producer. Batting third in the lineup today. Takes it right back up the middle and does what he does a lot, which is get base hits.
So now the inning continues for Aramis Ramirez. He fouled out to Joey Votto his first time up, and down strike 1 here. Alfredo has surrendered as many runs through the first 3 innings today as he has allowed in any of his first 5 starts on the year. 7 innings, 1 run against the Mets. 8 innings, 1 run against Tampa Bay. 6 innings, 1 run at Chicago. In his last 2, he's allowed exactly 2. And this should be out number 3. But in the middle of the third, as the Brewers score again, they're in front, 2-0. Why not take advantage of the Reach Magazine family deal? When one member of the family buys a full price ticket, you then have the option to buy 3 additional tickets, and you get those at half price. Every Sunday game has a kids giveaway. 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or log on to reds.com/family for ticket information. Brewers a single run in the first, another in the third. The Reds bat in the bottom of the inning, trailing 2-0. Now Loesch has allowed 1 hit, and now he's allowed another hit and a run. If it stays fair, goodbye. The damage offensively being inflicted by this catching core of the Reds is just amazing. Pena, his 3rd home run.
And this one a no-doubter. I mean, it went all the way over the bullpen area into the bow tie bar. Take a good look at this swing. Look at his eyes. Concentration, gets that bat head out there and rolls his wrist.
Pena hit the 2-run home run off the bench in a series opener against Jim Henderson. Went hitless in the second game. But then last night, Pena had 2 hits, 2 more RBIs, and now his second home run of the series. So you have Mesoraco, who knocked in 13 runs in 13 games. You have Pena now with 8 runs batted in. Tack on 1 from Tucker Barnhart as Cozart hammers one into left field, a base hit. You're talking about 22 RBIs coming from the catcher's position.
And really, the catcher's position has consistently been down around the number 6, 7, or 8 spot in the lineup. I don't think there's any more sneaking up on them from down there. The word is out on the Reds catchers.
That one bunted straight up into the air, and Simon unable to advance a runner with a bunt. 1 out.
Looked like Kyle Lohse at the last second thought what he should have been thinking ahead of time. That if he bunts in the air like this, I may let it drop. Make believe I'm going to catch it, then let it drop without touching it, and then make Alfredo Simon run the bases. Watch Lohse at the very end of this. He calls it, and he catches it way down. He just realizes, oh, Cozart is back standing on first base. It would have been an easy force play down there, maybe even a double play, the way Simon was kind of jogging down the line with a bat in his hand.
All right, now Schumacher making his first start as a Red and his first at bat in a line drive right at the left fielder Chris Davis. And a breaking ball, and his first pitch is in the dirt. 1-0 to Skip Schumacher. Schumacher, 34 years old, signed as a free agent during the offseason. Came up through the Cardinals organization, came to the big leagues for the first time in 05. Only about 28 games, 54 at bats in 06, and became a regular part of their club. Really beginning in the end of 2007, and put together some very, very solid years. That ball hit right on the screws, a sinking liner caught by Gomez. So 2 well-struck balls by Schumacher and 2 loud outs. Votto takes outside, ball 1. We were starting to talk about in Votto's first at bat the middle part of this batting order. We showed you the club leaders in runs batted in. Votto has 10 of them on the year. 9 of them came in the first 2.5 weeks of the season.
And it really wasn't long after that when he was shifted from the number 3 spot to the 2nd spot. So you're not going to get as many RBI opportunities when you're batting second. I think what Bryan Price is trying to do is capitalize on the strengths of Joey Votto, which is getting on base rather than driving guys in.
Votto hit the ball very hard. It went for a base hit on a ball that just chewed up Jeanette at second base in the first inning. 2-1 to Votto. Reds down a run here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning after the home run to start the inning by Bryan Pena. 2-2 to Joey Votto. Cozart being held on over there at first by Overbay. And now the break-even pitch is hit hard into left field, tailing away from Davis, but he'll run it down, and that'll end the inning. A home run by Pena, his second of the series, gets the Reds on the board and cuts a 2-0 lead in half. Chat with Hall of Fame writer Hal McCoy. Find out what Skip Schumacher could bring to the Reds, and find out what Aaron Kraft intends to do after graduating from Ohio State. All that brought to you by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Drive safe, spend less. Whatever that Aaron Kraft wants to do, he's going to be good at it. I have no idea whether or not that kid's good enough to play in the NBA. A straight A student. What a great career he had for Thad Matta and the Buckeyes. As a bouncer to the right side, and Phillips gets to it, gathers himself, throws out Overbay. Milwaukee with a 2-1 lead. We're in the top of the fourth inning at Great American Ballpark. Another big crowd on hand here today. We had over 38,000 last night. Big Star Wars weekend, lots of giveaways again today. Star Wars t-shirts last night, Star Wars posters on this Sunday afternoon. And I bet a lot of folks, with this 4:10 start time, they looked outside, they got outside, saw what a beautiful day it was, did whatever it is they do on Sunday morning, go to church or have brunch or whatever they may be, just relax and take it easy, and thought, well, why not come down to the ballpark? Great day for it. Now the Reds are only leaving for 2 days. They're going to come right back home and start another 6-game homestand. Friday night, the Colorado Rockies come in for the first of 3. It'll be a Saturday night game, a regular start time on Sunday afternoon. And then after an off day Monday, they have a 3-game set against San Diego. Three-0 on Chris Davis. To Davis. Full count. Well, what a great thrill it will be to visit Fenway Park in Boston. Granted, not long enough, as you brought up last night, Chris, but nonetheless 2 days taking on the Red Sox. Homer Bailey and Mike Leake will get the ball at Fenway Park. That ball driven hard into right center field, and it is 3-1 Milwaukee. Boy, Davis has hit 2 rockets in this game. One of them caught by Heisey, and this one caught in the stands.
Yeah, the whole at bat was really predicated on the fact that Alfredo Simon got down to Davis 3-0. And he came right back to him 3-0. A strike, 3-1, a strike, a foul ball, and they came right back with another fastball. And Davis has seen so many fastballs in this at bat, he was ready for it. Boy, he generates a lot of bat speed.
I remember watching Davis grow up. His father has been a scout in Major League Baseball, and really one of the finest men you'll ever meet. I mean, his mom and dad, as fine of folks as there are anywhere, out in Phoenix, Arizona. And Dad would bring him around the ballpark all the years I was working for the Diamondbacks. And just a very, very delightful family. It's hard to believe watching a kid, and there have been others around here. We know about all the great players that have come out of Cincinnati. Ground ball to Votto, and he'll feed the covering Simon for out number 2 in the inning. It's now time for your tweet. of a photo using hashtag #OhioFanPhoto, and you'll have a chance to have it shown during an upcoming telecast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Three runs, the most Alfredo Simon has allowed in any of his starts. He had allowed 2 in each of the first, 3 in each of the last 2, I beg your pardon, but now 3 for the first time all year. Do or die play here for Frazier. Got him. Good play by the Reds' third baseman. A home run by Davis pushes the lead for Milwaukee back to 2 with Phillips, Heisey, and Frazier coming up.
In the Kings Auto Mall, expanded highlights, interviews, and much more. Reds Live, the post-game edition. Gym day out here in Wright, and we want to salute the troops anytime we can. And salute Jay Bruce for a program he's got going on called Bruce's Battalion. For every Sunday home game, Jay Bruce provides tickets to military members and their families to come in here free. They also get custom-made hats, which they're actually getting ready to pass out right now. Can I see one of those? Those things are very, very nice. Military-style hats. They also get some food vouchers. It's a terrific program. And we've got about 20 people here from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And let's get this gentleman to stand up because he is with the USMC. Identify yourself.
I'm First Sergeant Adam Brown.
How cool is it, this program, that you guys are able to come out here and get taken care of?
It's nice. It's something that we get to do with our families as a group, and good team building as well. So
got about 20 here, right?
Yes, we do.
Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. How about a little shout out to people watching today?
Thanks for everything, and go Reds.
Nothing better than that, Tom. Bruce's Battalion is actually a program started by Aaron Harang, who's from a military city of San Diego, and Jay Bruce took it over, and kudos to him.
Kudos to him indeed, and all those who serve, that have served, are serving, those that will serve in the United States military. We can't thank you enough for your service. That ball is clubbed down the left field line. It will roll to the wall, and Brandon Phillips with a stand-up double to begin the Reds' 4th inning, trailing 3-1.
Now they're trying to pitch him away on the first 2 pitches and then come inside, but that is Brandon's area. Man, he loves it down and in, drops the bat head, drives it right down near the left field line. Reds hit the ball hard last inning against Kyle Loesch, and you wonder now that they've seen him a little bit, you're kind of getting adjusted to seeing Loesch, who you've seen a lot over the career. Maybe they can make some business here.
Heisey swung at the first pitch in his at bat and popped up to Aramis Ramirez. And drops a bunt. It goes foul.
Well, when Jay Bruce was penciled into the lineup originally, of course, in the number 4 spot. And then he came up with a bum knee right before the ball game where it's aching him a little bit. So Brian Price decided to let him off of this game and put in Chris Heisey. He stuck him right in the number 4 spot. Decided not to rearrange the whole lineup. So you don't see too many number 4 hitters dropping a bunt down, especially in the 4th inning.
You know, Heisey continues to be in that situation where when guys who play ahead of him struggle, oftentimes whether it's fans or the press or a combination of the two, they will holler for Heisey to get a chance to play more frequently. But over the last couple of years, Dusty Baker certainly would argue that Heisey was given a chance to win a job in an outfield as an everyday player and was unable to put together a lot of good at-bats and a lot of numbers when given that chance to play. And you look this year, he has a home run, 6 RBIs. The home run and all 6 RBIs have come as a pinch hitter.
So what's that tell you? I mean, if you're Brian Price, what does that tell you? He's seen it with when Dusty Baker was at the helm, and he's seeing really the same thing now, that maybe his value is more off the bench. Even though if you ask Chris Isaac, he'd like to be an everyday player. Everybody would.
Two and two on Heisey. Phillips a double out at second base to begin this inning, and a bluff throw back that way. Pirates have lost earlier today, 7-1 to Toronto. Well, Atlanta, ever since the Reds were swept by the Braves last week, it has been a rough week. They were swept by the Marlins in Miami, and then swept in a 3-game series at home against the Giants. San Francisco behind Madison Bumgarner, a 4-1 win today. Well, the Marlins are playing good baseball. They beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3 over the weekend.
They're
5-4 the final.
Surprising a lot of people. So it'd be no surprise they've got some pretty good pitching. And they've got the guy in the league who's leading the league in runs batted in Stanton.
Started to chase that pitch he missed a moment ago, but was able to hold up. Full count on Heisey. Tampa Bay beat the New York Yankees today 5-1. The Cardinals and the Cubs will play later tonight, and the Cubs are going for the 3-game weekend sweep after the shutout of St. Louis 3-0 yesterday. The ball hit off the end of the bat, and the runner advances over to third base. One away in the inning. We talked about Todd Frazier and how his bat has started to heat up of late. He's our steel power tool performer. Take a look at the numbers. Not only batting average, extra base hits, OPS, RBIs for Frazier, and a chance here with a runner at third and 1 out to add to those solid numbers.
He's already made a really nice play in the field too.
Brewers are conceding the run unless it's hit right at Aramis Ramirez.
So that means if you're Bryan Phillips, if the ball is hit, as long as it gets by the pitcher, you're going home.
Frazier representing the tying run. And it's 2 balls and no strikes with Ludwig waiting in the on-deck circle. Brandon Phillips at third base and 1 out. No guarantee with a guy like Loesch if Frazier's going to get a 2-0 fastball here. And he didn't get one. Two and two.
Well, he's tried to
go ahead, Chris.
He's tried to throw that same pitch in the same spot nearly every pitch, all 4 pitches in this at bat. I mean, he wants to go right down there with it, and when he gets it there, that's the one that Todd Frazier oftentimes pull off of. I mean, but that's a tough pitch to hit. Down and away on the block, slider moving away from you. Probably going in there again. Decoy by Lucroy, and you saw the catcher going right behind Todd Frazier, pounding his glove, kind of giving him the decoy that, hey, we're going to come inside right here. I'm setting up inside, and I don't know whether that works or not, but they've been doing it for 100 years. Six sliders in a row.
Frazier barely getting the end of his bat onto that one to stay alive. It's interesting when you look at Loesch going to St. Louis, the easiest thing in the world to say is that he got it turned around overnight. And it looked that way initially. went after a subpar 2007 with the Reds in Philadelphia. In 2008, he won 15 games with an ERA at 3.7. But over the next 2 years, he did not pitch well and suffered through a number of injuries. But boy, you started 2011. His last 2 years with the Cardinals, he won 30 games and lost only 11. And then a solid year, his first as a Brewer last season. 3-2 to Frazier. And that ball is in the air to right center field. It's going to be caught, but good enough to drive in the run. 3-2 ball game. Good at bat there by Frazier.
It was really a test of patience and a test of wills in that at bat. Loesch kept firing that slider down and away, and who was going to give up first is the question. Was Loesch finally going to throw a strike that Frazier can handle here? And Frazier gets one that's a little bit up, and he stays behind it, gets it in the air the other way and far enough to get that run batted in.
And then on the ground, Ludwig thrown out by Segura, but the Reds get the run back. We go to the fifth. 3-2 Milwaukee in front.
JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. By Toyota. For over 30 years, Toyota offers. Visit buyatoyota.com. And go for the save on Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs with specially priced wings all day. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports.
Is that for my appearance on the pregame show in Atlanta last weekend?
What was that?
That you were kind enough to read the billboards there after I showed up on the pregame show.
It's the least I can do. You carry me that every day. So I think it's the least I can do occasionally to.
Well, we have a nice
with the billboards.
Rhythm going here on that. So thank you.
Was that a hot dog I saw you?
No, it was not. My son
Luke
Luke is up here in the broadcast booth with us for the first time all year long. It's just wonderful to have him here today. His sister Ella's here as well, and Mom. And we tell you that Sundays are family days here at Great American Ballpark, and for the Brenneman clan anyway, that would be true. Although Papa Marty, as he is affectionately known by for Ella and Luke, is not here today. Will be rejoining the club in Boston.
Well, he's been off this week and against his Brewers club. I hope he had a chance to get out there and watch your team, Luke's team. I mean, you're the manager, the general manager, the owner, and probably the guy that makes all the waiver decisions. And Luke, of course, probably one of the stars on that team. He tells me that you guys are 4-0, and Papa Marty probably came out and got the chance to watch his grandson.
Papa Marty did come out and watch us, thankfully, get a win yesterday to go to 4-0. So it's been fun.
Awesome.
Boys are having fun.
It's a great age. I mean, Luke is 10. I mean, that's a great age to go out and watch youth baseball. It really is.
Well, he's looking at you and saying, I wish I was 10. His sister's 10. He's 9.
Oh, he's 9. Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. But, you know, he wants to be 10. So he's like, I love Mr. Welsh.
Well, he's probably thinking, well, I'm 9.5.
That's right. But you're right. It is so blessed to have him healthy and happy and everybody doing all right. Sister Ella had a big soccer game today, and we were out in Cleves, Ohio this morning.
You know, I've always noticed that when a father of the team coaches one of the kids, he's tougher on his own kid than he is on anybody else in that ball club. And I know you're kind of a tough guy anyway. I mean, are you tougher on Luke than the other kids on the team?
That would probably be affirmative. Although, you know how it goes. You try not to be.
And does Marty rattle your cage?
Not at all.
Stands at all?
Not a peep.
Maybe second guess?
Not a peep.
Okay.
No. Although he did tell me my material was tired yesterday when I barked out from the dugout. We had a big lead in the game. I said, we're not the bad news Bears. Throw it and catch it. He said they don't even know who the bad news Bears are.
He's right.
There's a 1, 2, 3 in it. Ohio will be taking over the Reds ticket office. We'll have a great deal on Reds tickets, but you have to be watching Tuesday night from Fenway Park in Boston, and we suspect many of you will be. We invite you to join us Tuesday night. Reds Live will get underway at 6:30. And our game coverage starts at 7 o'clock. 7:10 first pitches. Both games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights from Boston. Pena homered. His only time up today, way back in right field. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Bryan Pena. The Reds down a run, batting here in the 5th. That ball's hit hard. Tell you, the Reds have hit some bullets against Kyle Loesch today. Schumacher twice, 1 to left, 1 to center. Votto a line out to left. Frazier on the sac fly, a liner to right. Pena a home run. Now a line drive to center, and Cozart ripped one into left field. And of course, Brandon Phillips had a double to left field. I don't know if somebody was just getting some throwing in that Milwaukee bullpen, or whether there might be something going on with Kyle Loesch, but they did have action down there very briefly a short while ago. Cozart a single through the hole in the left field in the 3rd inning.
Well, if you look up and down the Reds lineup and look at the matchups against Kyle Loesch, you know, there's only a couple of guys that have really had any kind of measure of success against Loesch. One being Jay Bruce, not in the lineup because of a sore knee. The other being Joey Votto. So anything you can get off of Loesch now is something different than what you normally get.
Cozart chases that breaking ball down and away from him, and that's strikeout number 2 in the game for Loesch. Told you the Reds coming home on Friday night, so start your weekend off with a bang. The Reds take on the Colorado Rockies, and after the game, of course, we'll have our spectacular post-game fireworks show presented by Klosterman Baking Company. 381-REDS, or log on to Reds.com for tickets. Alfredo dribbles one back up through the middle, and Segura will throw him out to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 for the Reds. End of 5. The Brewers in front by a run. Very first inning, Scooter Gennett a home run to the seats in right field. 1-0 Milwaukee. They would go ahead 2-0 on a 2-out run scoring single by Jonathan Lucroy. That came in the 3rd. But in the bottom of the inning, Bryan Pena made it a 1-run game with a home run to right, his 2nd of this series. Chris Davis pushed the lead back to 2 with an opposite field blast to right center. And then Brandon Phillips led off the bottom of the 4th inning with a double, a sac fly by Todd Frazier, and you're up to speed. A 3-2 ball game with Milwaukee in front. And we've got some big league pitchers and big league hitters that have rolled into the broadcast booth here.
All of a sudden, this broadcast booth looks kind of small.
I feel really small.
Well, you know, it was a big day here at the ballpark anyway when the Reds honored the 3rd annual Reds Futures High School Showcase. They had a big parade down on the field. 72 of the top teams around the region came down here to participate in the parade. They're watching the game from upstairs here. And, yeah, boy, the places that these high schools got to play, and just amazing what the Reds have done. Here's a lineup of the MVPs of the games that have been played. Each team plays in a game, and they pick an MVP from that game. And they get honored on the field. Walt Jocketty was out there, and Brian Price. Billy Hamilton went out to shake hands with everybody. It was really great. But they get to play at University of Cincinnati's Marge Schott Stadium, up at Miami University, Northern Kentucky, Crosley Field in Blue Ash, Nebraska Park in Mason, great place to play, and the MLB Urban Youth Academy at Roselawn. So it's a great move, initiative by the Reds to get the high school involved in Reds baseball. So we invited one of the teams and just randomly selected the Royal Raiders.
to come
Nice
on
to
up
have
here.
the Wild Raiders
Yeah.
up here today. It's a good-looking group. I just can't believe, you know, my guys are so young. I mean, Luke here, 9, our daughter 10. But look at the size of these guys.
I mean, they've grown big nowadays, don't they?
It's amazing.
Luke, I wanted to set up a little game between you guys and the Raiders. What do you think?
I don't know. Our pitching's pretty good. Our offense might be a little short.
Good pitching stops good hitting, no doubt about it. But it's great to have them up here. The Raiders, of course, are coached by Pat Rosal, and having a good year, having a really fun year.
Now, when do the playoffs get started over there in Northern Kentucky? I'd imagine it's the same as in Ohio, probably a couple weeks.
A couple weeks from now, yeah.
Right.
So they've got still some time to play some regular games and then get tuned up for their postseason play.
It's nice to see, and I know Ryle had a chance to play a number of the big schools across the river, and you've seen more and more of that in the last number of years. I think that you guys beat one of the better teams in Cincinnati early in the year, Anderson High School.
Yeah.
And
they played St. X,
Moeller,
they played
right?
Moeller, sure. So there's a lot more of that than there used to be. It's, you know, back in my day, it seemed like all the Kentucky schools stayed over here in Kentucky and played. The Cincinnati schools played each other, but now you're playing teams from all over the place. There are actually some high schools from Michigan that make a southern trip down to this area because it's 10 degrees warmer probably here in Cincinnati than it is up in upper Michigan. So you see some out-of-town schools like that. But what the Reds have done over the years to bring in high school sports, especially baseball here, it's really great.
Well, it was really cool to see all those young folks having a chance to get out on the field here at the ballpark. Phillips will barehand the feed from Cozart, and that's a double play after a leadoff walk to Jonathan Lucroy.
DP lane all the way. All you got to do is make sure you turn it fast enough, and that's why Brandon, if you watch Brandon on this play, he will watch that ball all the way into his hand. I know that, you know, there's a lot of high school kids here today, and they're going to see, hey, well, Brandon Phillips can barehand that double play. Why can't I barehand that double play?
Don't even start.
What do you think, Coach? Don't even start.
Thank you. He knows. And he's a lot better at that than I'll ever be, but golly day.
Well, the point is that he practices it all the time. And he watches the ball right into his hand instead of worrying about flipping that ball to first base before you actually have control of it.
1-1 to Overbig, and that one in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, not only the Reds, Chris, but I know there are a lot of high school programs around and a lot of high schools, individuals around town that certainly have appreciated all the work that you've helped in trying to make some young pitchers get better and help them to get better. You've been doing that a long time here in town, well over 20 years.
Well, I've been lucky to have been exposed to really good coaching coming up here as an amateur in Cincinnati. And I still think that baseball in Cincinnati is some of the best amateur baseball you're going to find anywhere in the country. A lot of kids who are playing high school baseball, they're going to go on and play college baseball at whatever level. Maybe NAIA, maybe it's a Division I team. Maybe you're playing for the national champions at some point. But there's a dream out there lived by many of these young men, and it's good to have good coaching. You need it.
Well, it certainly is nice to have the Ryle Raiders with us up here, and we wish them nothing but the very best in the upcoming playoffs. Well, the Fan Express to Reds Country is back on the road this season, and to get your group on board the Fan Express, it's a great way to come to the ballpark. You get to ride home from the ballpark. Call the Reds Group sales at 765-7600. A beautiful Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati in a big inning here, last to the 6th, top of the order. Reds trailing the Milwaukee Brewers by a single run. Schumacher has hit the ball right on the nose twice, and this time a roller to the second baseman. 1 out. Let's give Schumacher, the subject of our IGS Bringing the Energy, back from the disabled list officially yesterday. Career .285 batter, gets on base at a 34% clip. His numbers at rehab, playing in 4 games, swung the bat very well. He was having a great spring. And then at Goodyear Ballpark, he went to make a diving catch on a ball driven into left center. He was playing left field at the time. and injured his shoulder. Votto, another hard hit ball, third one of those today for him, and it bounces into the stands, and that is a ground rule double for Votto. Chris brought up earlier his career numbers and good success against Loesch, and he has swung the bat very well against the Milwaukee right-hander today.
Well, Votto is a good off-speed pitch hitter. I mean, he's good at hitting changeups. He's good at hitting sliders. And that's what you're going to get against Kyle Loesch. You're going to get that changeup most of the time. That may have been a curveball. But the key is to stay back on it and use your legs to drive it. And Votto really does it there.
Now the Reds looking for a hit to tie this game, if not put them in front. Brandon Phillips bounced into a double play his first time up. He doubled leading off the fourth inning and scored after a ground ball by Heisey and a fly ball by Frazier. Brandon trying to get it done with the bat right here. For the game today, Brandon Phillips once more rewarded with a Rawlings Gold Glove Award. His fourth one. Well, those are nice, aren't they?
All I have done is seen one. Well deserved, I'll tell you that.
Doesn't chase that breaking ball, low and away from him, and it's 3 balls and a strike to Brandon Phillips. Of course, Brandon did not win that award and went to Darwin Barney in 2012. So I'm sure that maybe the one he won last year and was given today has a little bit of extra special meaning after getting it back. Big pitch right here, 3-1. And he walked it. First walk of the game given up by Kyle Loesch. And if you're looking for the perfect Mother's Day gift, and don't forget it's 1 week from today, you can give her the gift of baseball, bring her to Great American Ballpark. Take advantage of the Reach Magazine family deal. Arrive early. The first 10,000 moms receive a Mother's Day cosmetic bag thanks to Biz and Oxidol. 513-381-REDS. Don't forget Mom. Do not do it. A week from today, Mother's Day.
You know, that particular at bat with Brandon Phillips up there, who eventually walked, was a really good example of Kyle Loesch not giving in. I mean, he had a base open, and he's saying to Brandon Phillips, if you're going to get a hit off of me, it's going to be a slider on the outer part of the plate or just off the plate. Now you set up a double play ball, and you have a guy up there who you feel better about handling than Brandon Phillips.
Well, if you're thinking about something on the ground of the infield, that pretty much is all Heisey has done the last 2 days. He literally has not hit a ball out of the infield. In now 3 consecutive games, he had an infield hit here on Friday night, struck out twice, had a ground out. 3 ground outs and a foul ball last night, mixed in a walk. And Heisey has popped to third and grounded out today. So trying to get that change right here and right now on a 1-2 pitch with 2 on and 1 out. hung up there a little bit, and he got a little jumpy when he saw that thing, didn't he?
Yeah, that had a little bit bigger break on it because it was a curveball. The pitches that are in the low 80s, 83 miles an hour or so, that's a slider, and he throws that way more than any other pitch except the fastball. But here he just said, he kind of got frustrated. Eventually said, you know, I'm going to change speeds on Chris Heisey here, and he took a little bit off it and has a little bigger loop in it.
2-2 to Heisey, 2 on and 1 out. Chris waiting, and here it comes. And it's into left field, a base hit by Heisey. They're going to hold Votto at third base. So Heisey with a base hit. And the Reds have him loaded down a run.
Chris Heisey jumped all over that mistake pitch and hit it just the way he should, right on the button. After a slow curve, here's a slider that hangs above the belt.
Heisey able to bear a smile after banging that one into left field. And now Frazier, who has popped to shallow center. He knocked in a run with a line drive sac fly to right in the 4th inning. And a soft liner that ends the inning on a double play to get Brandon Phillips. Favorite mobile phone or tablet, you can download it at the App Store or visit Reds.com today. My, what a disappointing ending to that bottom of the 6th. Time to take a look at our fan photo of the game, brought to you by AT&T. How about that right there, Chris? That was us early in the year.
Sure was.
Wow. And Debbie was the one who sent that. So Debbie, thank you very much.
That was on Bow Tie Tuesday.
How about that?
I feel very honored. That is awesome.
That is really nice, Debbie. So thank you very, very much. Bunted right back to the mound. And Alfredo will take care of Davis. That is a surprise, Davis. I mean, here is a guy who has hit 2 rockets off Alfredo Simon here today. One of them had landed about 15 rows in his seats in right center field. And trying to bunt his way on to begin the 7th inning. Thank you very much.
That's exactly what that is a thank you very much.
But getting back to the ending of that 6th inning, bases loaded, 1 out, heart of the order at the plate, and the Reds unable to tie this game.
Well, what really bothers you about it was kind of a check swing. I mean, if you swing as hard as you can, and Frazier ought to be up there swinging as hard as he can because he's so strong. But when you know you're going to get a slider from Kyle Loesch, I mean, after all, that's all you've gotten all day long is a constant diet of that. You know, let it rip.
Phillips will handle the ground ball from Gindel, 2 away. Boy, and once again, Chris, here we are. And another outstanding effort being turned in by Alfredo Simon.
Well, it's been like this every time he takes them out. This is his 6th start. He has delivered. Now we're into the 7th inning. Another quality start. So that's 1 every time out. That ranks him among the best pitchers in the league in that department and in a bunch of other departments as well.
Phillips once more will handle the ground ball. This one by Segura. Only 80 pitches in the game for Alfredo to get through 7. This spot is due up 4th when the Reds bat in the bottom of the 7th. We're going to keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please stand, kindly remove your hats and face the American flag. Major League Baseball, The Brewers and the Reds salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service as we welcome St. Xavier High School student Isham Walker for a special performance of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the ocean white with foam.
Reds would love to see one of the swings from Bryan Pena here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. They trail by a run. Pena to follow Ryan Ludwig and then Zach Kozine. 3 runs, 5 hits for Milwaukee against Alfredo Simon. Reds have 2 runs, 6 hits, some very hard hit balls for outs against Kyle Loesch.
You know, neither pitcher has really had to wiggle out of too many jams this afternoon. The Reds have only left 3 on. The Brewers have left 2 on. Biggest opportunity was last inning when the Reds had that bases loaded with only 1 out. Well, they play Ryan Ludwig to pull and to pull. In the infield, if you look where the shortstop is, Here's Segura, the shortstop. I mean, there is no room there at all. And he has hit the ball hard here in this series on the ground right at Segura about 3 or 4 times.
1-2 to count. And this one to the second baseman, Jeanette. That's where he's playing, as Chris mentioned, to pull. And that's out number 1 against Loesch here in the 7th. Pena the home run way back into right field down the line in the 3rd inning, and then hit a line drive that was run down by Carlos Gomez in right center field in the 5th. On the outside corner, that'll even the count on Pena at 1-1. Two home runs, 5 runs batted in this series for Bryan Pena. He's hit a 2-run home run, had the big 2-run single in the 3-run 4th inning last night, and the solo home run in the 3rd inning today. Good hitters count. 3 balls and a strike. Came with a fastball away from him, and it's fouled off out of play. drive of the game, that home run by Pena in the 3rd inning. Boy, did he hit that ball. Now the payoff pitch. We'll do it again. Mentioned Alfredo Simon's spot is due up 4th here in the Reds' 7th inning. Alfredo only 80 pitches he has needed today to get through 7 strong innings. But his team missing that golden chance to at least tie the game, if not take the lead in the 6th when they have him loaded with 1 out. 3-2 once more to Pena. Man, is this guy swinging a bat. Tying one aboard. Pena 2-hit day.
He's showing everybody that he can handle a high fastball. He gets his final lead. We're going to show you the entire at bat here at our Mazda pitch by pitch. And in this at bat, you're going to notice that a guy who normally throws a lot of off-speed pitches, and Kyle Loesch, is going to throw more fastballs. First 2 are changeup. There's a look fastball. Another one right there. And earlier in the game, he was throwing a lot more off-speed pitches. That was off-speed, but he finally gets a fastball up, and that's the one he rifles into right field on our Mazda pitch by pitch.
Cozart is single into left field in the 3rd inning, struck out swinging in the 5th.
Pena is kind of an unusual left-handed hitter. Of course, he's a switch hitter, which might explain it. Most lefties like that ball down and in, that low wheelhouse. He likes the ball up a little bit. Boy, he has been punishing it.
Jay Bruce, a bat in hand, a helmet on. Standing in the on-deck circle. That's Alfredo Simon's spot next. Along with us earlier, Jay Bruce originally in the Reds lineup, and then about an hour and a half before the first pitch, he was scratched with some soreness in his right knee. 2-1 the count now on Zach Cozart. Will Smith, a left-hander, all of a sudden getting loose in the Milwaukee bullpen. J.J. Hoover on the right, Sam LeCure on the left, both ready in the Reds bullpen. To Cozart. Runner goes. And a swing and a foul ball out of play. Pena does have 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts already this year, but my oh my, as frequently as Cozart has swung and missed this season. That is a gamble.
You know, with 2 stolen bases for Bryan Pena this year, he essentially doubles his entire major league career number of stolen bases coming into this year.
You know, I thought I saw Pena about 3/4 of the way to second base, almost skip as though something were wrong with his leg. And then all of a sudden when he made the U-turn, he didn't appear to be limping, so I took my eyes off of him. I am sure that Brian Price, Billy Hatcher, and Paul Lessard saw the same thing. Now watch right about here. It was only one time a little skip there, but apparently he's convinced him that he's all right. He's reaching there behind that left leg. To the count on Cozart. And it's a base hit in the right center field. Pena going to try to get to third. And he's lumbering and stumbling and bumbling and slides in there, and he will make it. He didn't look like he was going all that well, but the big fella made it. Well, you just hope this guy's all right, Chris.
But he looked all right going from first to third. I mean, there was no hesitation. He looked where that ball was when it went into the right center field gap. And it was an easy decision for Bryan Pena. Right there, he made the decision well before he got to the bag. And now that he's at third base, they're going to bring in a pinch runner for him to make sure maybe that he doesn't more aggravate that leg. But Reds go first to third. Pena comes out, and Billy Hamilton comes in at third base.
And there's a lot of moving parts here. Pena's leaving, Hamilton's coming in. Jay Bruce announced as a pinch hitter. And as soon as that announcement was made, springing from the Brewers' third base side dugout is manager Ron Renicky. They have the left-hander Will Smith ready for Bruce, and they'll bring him from the bullpen. Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. A big at-bat coming up when we return. Now another good one here in the seventh inning. Logan Schaefer will take over out in right field, replacing Gindel. And now taking over on the mound behind Loesch is left-hander Will Smith to face Jay Bruce.
Now, Will Smith was with last year and earlier in his major league career with the Kansas City Royals. He came over here to the Brewers in a trade which included Norichika Aoki. They wanted to bolster their bullpen. They needed a left-hander. Man, he has been very good in 15 games. Opponent batting average of 163. Left-handers are down in the 1-teens.
Jay Bruce has never faced Will Smith. Billy Hamilton, first time we've seen him since he injured his knuckles, making that diving play on the first pitch thrown in this series on Thursday night.
I would imagine Hamilton's going on contact no matter what. And the Brewers are hoping for a double play ball.
All right, Bruce with a big chance. Got a first pitch breaking ball and waves through it.
You know, teams like to shift on Bruce, but you really can't shift that much on Bruce because you got that third baseman fairly close, or else Billy Hamilton could steal home. So that's why you have the third baseman in this proximity instead of normally where he'd play, which is over there.
Nowhere near that pitch was Jay Bruce, who is 3 for 22 against left-handed pitching. 5 for 22, I beg your pardon. That's a .227 batting average. When all the Reds need here is just a fly ball. Even a weak ground ball to the left side would tie this game. And Bruce is gone on 3 pitches. 2 are out of the inning.
Now back-to-back sliders right here that look like maybe strikes coming out of his hand after a first pitch fastball. And pretty effective sequence.
So the second inning in a row where the Reds have had a runner at third and fewer than 2 outs. And now they need a 2-out hit by Schumacher to tie this game. Breaking ball is a strike. Of course, the Reds don't have anybody since you brought Hamilton into the game to run. And you used Bruce off the bench. And he was unable to play in this game because of a tender knee. There goes a runner first to second. And a fly ball into left field. And man, oh man, you talk about missed opportunities. The last 2 innings.
Reds here on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi again, everyone. I am Jim Day. Let's give you an update on Aroldis Chapman. I know we had speculated because Aroldis Chapman's first 2 rehab appearances for Dayton have gone so well that perhaps he would make the trip to Boston to face the Red Sox with Cincinnati. The answer to that is no. They're giving him 2 days off, which includes today and tomorrow. He will pitch Tuesday for Louisville. He will start that game again, and then the final test, they hope, is coming out of the bullpen the following day on Wednesday. Get him to back-to-back days, and then if all goes well, Bryan Price says he'll be waiting for the Reds when they come back from Boston and be activated for the Colorado series, and that is less than a week, and good to hear.
Well, you're not lying about that. A new battery for the Reds. Tucker Barnhart takes over behind the plate, replacing Bryan Pena, and now on the mound, a long-time Milwaukee Brewer, left-hander Manny Parra.
It's always interesting to see a player go back and play against his team, especially a pitcher. Knows a lot of guys on this roster. Not easy to put the emotion of that away.
Off the end of the bat, a roller to the shortstop Cozart, and Logan Schaefer his first at bat. It's a ground ball for the first out of the inning. Of course, Manny Parra was drafted by the Brewers all the way back in 2001 in the 26th round. Spent almost 6 full years in their minor league system before they brought him up for 9 games and 2 starts in 07. He was a starter 29 of them in 2008, won 10 games with an ERA of a little bit better than 4, and they thought they were onto something there. But then in 2009, Parra won 11, lost 11, but had an ERA of almost 6.5. They gave him another shot at it, 16 starts in 2010. But they used him more frequently out of their bullpen that year. He was injured in 2011 as Gomez swings so hard his helmet falls off, and after they saw him out of the bullpen in 12, off he went to the Reds. Boy,
back in the day, you'd be wearing one on this pitch. Well, what really changed for Manny Parra when he came over here is that he began to simplify his repertoire of pitches. And he's primarily now a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball, curveball, or breaking ball. You want to call it a slurve or hard curve, slider, something like that, and a changeup.
Gomez started 2 and able to lay off of it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You know, it's so interesting when you talk to some of the people that have followed the Brewers for years. They were just stunned. And I think that's the best word to describe it, because we just gave you some of the numbers that Manny Parra had in Milwaukee. And I mean, look, outside of that first full year in the major leagues, those numbers were not pretty as Gomez has gone swinging. So to do what he did last year, which basically, Chris, was become among the best left-handed relievers in the league, I think was a shock to many in Milwaukee.
Here's the hard slider. He throws down and in. Gomez swings over the top of it. And our flamethrower brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. Well, I think that they were stunned for 2 reasons. They were stunned while Manny Parra was a member of the Brewers. How can a guy with this arm not be a winner? Because he averages, you know, somewhere between 93 and 95 on a fastball. He had a great breaking ball, good changeup, left-handed. I mean, this kind of arm on a left-handed pitcher doesn't come around all that often. And they did essentially everything they possibly could. I remember talking to one of the top-ranking folks in the Brewers when Manny Parra first came over and said, you know, we've done everything we could with Parra. And he came over here, and Bryan Price coached him as his pitching coach, and got into his head a little bit, and they simplified his delivery and they simplified his approach, and all of a sudden with that came renewed confidence. And I think that's where the biggest swing was with his confidence level when he takes the mound. He knows he can get big league hitters out now instead of hoping that he gets big league hitters out. The Reds have been a big beneficiary of that deal.
Looked like Jeanette went around. He did. It's 1-2. Reds will have Votto, Phillips, Heisey coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Can they finally break through after failing to tie the game in each of the last 2 innings when they had such a great opportunity to do so? Fouled out of play. Talk about, not the end of the world if you don't win this game, but my, oh my, the difference in the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about the momentum, and the way that things could be if you're able to make it 3 out of 4 wins in this series against the Milwaukee Brewers rather than a split. Gone swinging Jeanette. Good inning by Manny Pius. So here we go. Votto to start it off. Reds down a run. Brought to you by Chevy. Visit your Tri-State Chevy dealer today. And by Cincinnati Children's Hospital, ranked #1 in the United States in pediatric cancer care. That's according to U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals in America. Rolling in from the Commonwealth across the Roebling Bridge into downtown Cincinnati. And here we are in the bottom of the 8th inning, where the Reds, who trail these Brewers by 6.5 games inside the National League Central, looking for a rally. Now, Votto's hit the ball very, very hard all 3 times up tonight. But, of course, those at-bats came against the right-hander Kyle Loesch, whom he's had great success against in his career. And now he gets a left-hander Smith. And what a number this guy did on Bruce and Schumacher. Back-to-back left-handed hitters to end the threat in the 7th. When the Reds had runners on the corners and only 1 out. Struck out Bruce on 3 pitches and got Schumacher on a fly ball to left field.
Will Smith's got a pretty good arm. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Ask Jay Bruce about his breaking ball. First time these 2 guys have seen each other. Except maybe in a spring training game.
That's a 95-mile-per-hour fastball right there as well.
Yeah, Votto didn't like that one. I mean, he doesn't jaw with the umpires very much, but you can tell by the body language. He may have thought that was below the hollows of the knees. He's wondering, all right, now Smith got Jay Bruce on a couple of breaking balls right here. Is he going to snap off a slider on me or try to sneak another heater in there?
Brewers have right-hander Brandon Kinsler ready in their bullpen. See if they want to make the change when he started getting to a number of right-handed batters. It would be to follow. And Phillips, Heisey, Frazier, Ludwig. 2-2 the count. Hanging around by fouling that one back is Joey Votto.
Boy, had a good cut on that.
Well, the Reds have already burned through, if you will, or you look at that swing. They burned through 2 players on basically 1 move, with Hamilton and Bruce both injured players. 1 out. And as we suspected, here comes Ron Renneke out of the dugout, and he's going to summon the right-hander Kinsler to face Brandon Phillips. Reds have 5 outs left to play with, and they're down by a run. We'll be back in a moment. Foundation, which honors the families of fallen service members. If you'd like to learn more, and we certainly hope you would, visit goldstarpens.org. Boy, Fox Sports supports and all they have done for so many different charities over the last decade has just been amazing. All right, here's Brandon Kinsler.
And he's on to face Brandon Phillips. And Brandon Phillips has faced Kinsler just about as many times as any hitter in this league has faced Kinsler. 7 at-bats overall and 1 hit. So that's why Ron Renicky made that move to get Will Smith out of there, despite the fact that Will Smith, in my opinion, was really throwing the ball well. 95 with a hard breaking ball, but the Brewer manager going with the matchup. So we'll see how it works out.
Brandon bounced into a double play in the first inning, double to left, scored in the fourth, drew a walk in the 6th inning. And there's a strike from Kinsler. Kyle Lowe, 6 1/3, gave up 8 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts, 2 runs, and survived that 6th inning. The 6th and the 7th innings. That ball is driven into deep center field. Gomez will not get this one.
So much for matchups. He throws that ball on the inner part of the plate about waist high, and boom.
Izzy on the very next pitch. Lines one into center field, so we are tied at 3. What a big time base hit by Brandon Phillips to knot it up.
Man, that's got to feel good. I mean,
I love the kiss he blew all the fans here. That was really cool. All righty, Todd Frazier now. Well, you know, if anybody in this Reds lineup, I'm not sure anybody's any harder on himself than Frazier is on himself when he is unable to accomplish a goal, and certainly when he lines softly into that double play on with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. No one would like to make us forget about that any more than Todd Frazier would right now. Man, what a big home run that is by Phillips. Starting to lose some energy. And a huge shot in the arm delivered by the Reds second baseman to tie this game in the 8th inning.
Especially when you're hitting it off a pitcher whose sole purpose of being in the game was to get you out. The matchups favored the Brewers pitcher. But Brandon got a pitch he could handle and got on top of it.
All right, 3-2 now on Todd Frazier. And Kinsler to the plate. You knew he was coming fastball, and there's a tapper down to third. Hitting over, but Brandon Phillips. How about it? We're tied at 3. Well, play of the game. Before the game today, Brandon Phillips receiving the 4th Rawlings Gold Glove of his major league career. May 10th of last year, who could ever forget that play? That might have been the greatest play I've ever seen a middle infielder make.
I mean, every time I see it.
Have you ever seen a better play than that, Chris, all your years in baseball as a player? As
they call
announcer?
those things on the internet or computer and go over and over again, the GIF, the GIF or whatever. You ever got one of those? And that's one of those GIFs that you can just look at over and over and over again. I'm going to have Joel or somebody load it up on your phone so that you can watch it over and over again.
Jonathan Broxton takes over on the mound, so the Reds going to bring in their closer to try and get these 3 outs, and it's through the middle of the Milwaukee lineup. Starting with Jonathan Lucroy, we're in the 9th, tied at 3. Ramirez to follow, and then left-handed batting Lyle Overbay.
That's the way every manager plays it. In the 9th inning, when you're tied, there'll never be a save opportunity at home, so you go with your best, and then you work backwards from there in your bullpen if the game goes extra innings.
Broxton immediately falls behind. Lucroy's been on base all 3 times. 2 hits, a pair of singles, a run batted in, has also drawn a walk. Second game in this series when Lucroy has been on base 3 times in a game. He had 3 hits 2 nights ago. Three and 0. And a 4-pitch walk by Jonathan Broxton opens up the Milwaukee 9th inning in a tie game. See Brian Price asking Tucker Barnhart, was that a strike? So now Ramirez 0 for 3 in a game, bounced into a double play his last time. Broxton would certainly like that right here and right now.
Well, it hadn't happened very often between these 2 guys, a double play ball. Ramirez owns Johnny Cueto. He showed that again the other night. And he has had his way with Jonathan Broxton. How about that? 7 for 10.
Well, that might explain why Ramirez was up there first pitch hacking on a ball about a foot outside with all the success he's had in the past against Jonathan Broxton. 1 ball and 1 strike. Those are scary numbers, 7 out of 10.
Well, he's due for some outs. No one's going to hit 700. That's the way you got to look at it if you're Jonathan Broxton.
Fastball at 93 at the knees to get ahead of Aramis Ramirez at a ball and 2 strikes. Big lead over there by Lucroy. You better keep an eye on him. He may not be successful, but he will try to run. Double play ball here if they can turn it. There's one, and there it is.
Well, he came in here with a fastball down, and he got exactly what Broxton was hoping Ramirez would do, which is kind of roll over on that ball. Around the horn they go.
So one more big out to go here for Broxton. Lyle Overbay, 3 ground ball outs today. In the air down the left field line, and Ludwig will run out of room. Barely ran out. He's wondering how that ball didn't come down to him.
Actually hit the top of the padding.
That's a scary area down there when a ball is hit directly down that left field line or right field line. Only 328. You can get a cheapie every now and again, and there you see right off that top.
Well, it really complicated it for Ludwig because he's looking right up into the sun right there. He had a tough time following that ball. This is normally the time when teams take batting practice.
1-1 to Overbay. Reds will have Ryan Ludwig to lead things off in the bottom of the inning. Reds fell behind 2-0, made it 2-1, fell behind 3-1, made it 3-2, missed a couple of big scoring chances in the 6th and again in the 7th before Brandon Phillips tied the game in the 8th with a home run. 2-2 now on Overbay. And lost in all this is another great start by Alfredo Simon.
You're right. Interesting start and numbers for Simon. He pitched 7 innings, gave up only 3 runs. That's a quality start, but he did not strike out anybody. A very odd line for him, a guy that throws mid-90s.
Trying to put Overbay away. And does. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Bottom of the 9th inning. Reds trying to win it and make it 3 out of 4 against the Brewers. Off and ready to roll. Look at that little guy. I think he's in probably constant rally mode, don't you?
Yep.
And his sister, if that is indeed his sister, is just thinking, does it ever end?
He's either sleeping or in rally mode.
The guy looks like he wants to hit. All right, Ludwig. Tucker Barnhart was placed into that number 7 spot in the batting order, so he would be next here in the 9th inning. And then Zach Cozart. It's still Kinsler out there on the mound for Milwaukee. He allowed the game-tying home run, the first batter he faced when he took over for Will Smith in the 8th inning. Brandon Phillips got him to straightaway center field. Oh, and 1 to Ludwig. Started 2 and was able to hold off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Crowd at 33,000 on hand here today. Good crowds the last 3 games of this series. That's just bad luck there for Ludwig, yelling at himself. Started to swing, held up, but the ball made contact with the bat for strike 2. And that'll be a base hit to begin the bottom of the 9th inning. Well, if you're wondering about a pinch runner here at this point in time, it's probably not going to happen.
What Ryan on that particular swing was get out of there. I think that the Brewers felt like they could get inside on Ryan Ludwig, and they jammed him on that check swing previous pitch, and he got that bat head moving that time.
Well, now Tucker Barnhart, and the Brewers believe that Tucker is going to be up there to bunt. We'll see about that. Pulls the bat away. Tucker has had a pair of chances to put down a sacrifice. He failed the first time and was able to put one down the second time.
Well, remember we talked about that, and the mechanics that he uses up there are really not the best. He keeps that bat too flat. You want to get the bat head up a little bit higher than the hands. Just gives you an easier angle to get the ball down on the ground.
All right, now the question I have for you, Chris Welsh. It's 2-0. Barnyard is a guy that certainly is more of a contact hitter than any kind of a power hitter. On a 2-0 count, figuring you're getting a fastball here, are you taking this bunt off right now?
No, I'm not. I'm not so sure that they know enough about Tucker Barnhart whether he can hit Brandon Kinsler's fastball. Well, he fouled off, and they did not send the runner.
Well, they gave him one swing at 2-0. And we'll see if...
A lot of managers don't like to put the bunt on when there's one strike on the hitter, because if he fouls it off here, now you got a hitter in a 2-strike count.
Ludwig held on over there by Overbay. A leadoff single in the ninth. He's the winning run, and a beautiful bunt by Barnhart. That'll get the job done. So again, gave him a shot to try and do some damage on a 2-0 count, but they put the bunt play back on, and now the winning run in scoring position. Perfect for him.
Well, he gets his head close to the bat. That's what's good about that. Doesn't have his arms extended where his head is way far away from the point of contact. He's right down there looking at it, and that certainly helps him get that bunt down. Good job by Barnhart.
Now Cozart with a winning run at second base. It's ball one inside. Cozart today, 2 hits and 3 at bats. A single in the third, a strikeout in the fifth, a single in the 7th inning. Ramon Santiago is standing in the on-deck circle. And that is the pitcher spot due up next in the number 9 hole.
You may ask yourself, well, if the base open right here, why would they just walk Cozart and set up a double play ball? Well, they don't want the lineup to turn over and bring up Schumacher and then Votto with runners on base and have to face left-handers.
Well, the Red for a short time a year ago who actually threw the ball very, very well for the Reds last year. Now a Milwaukee Brewer cranking it up in the bullpen, Zach Duke. Two and one to Cozart, a chance to win it here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Boy, that ball in the dirt, and Cozart went around. Strike 2. Nowhere near the plate.
I think 2 things going on with Zach Cozart. One, it's a little difficult to see right now when the sun does come out from behind the cloud. The other is he's so anxious to drive this winning run in that he's committing himself before he has to.
Should be 3-1. Instead it's 2-2 on Cozart. Almost hit with that fastball. Well, that should have been ball 4. Instead, it's a 3-2 count on Cozart with a winning run at second base.
Now, he had a base hit, poked one into right center field last time up on a really good swing.
Look where Overbay is playing Zach Cozart. It's amazing. And he draws a walk after all. So now Ramon Santiago will be sent up to bat. Batting for Broxton, who works an inning, a strikeout, and a walk. Rick Kranitz, the Brewers pitching coach, will come out and make sure they know what they need to know about Ramon Santiago, a switch hitter. He's had 14 at-bats as a left-handed hitter as Santiago. He has 1 hit in those 14 at-bats, right-handed 1 out of 2. And he has 1 run batted in. That came from the left side.
The Reds fans don't really know a whole lot about Ramon Santiago. He drives a winning run in right here. They're going to learn a whole lot.
Fastball away from him, ball 1. We are in the bottom of the 9th inning at Great American Ballpark. Started later than normal today due to the Flying Pig Marathon through the streets of Cincinnati. 2 on, 1 out in the 9th, 3-3 game. And it's 2 balls and no strikes on Santiago. Ramon trying to come off that bench and deliver the game-winning base hit right here and right now. 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike on Santiago. And a tapper down to the first baseman. That's out number 2 in the inning. Winning run 90 feet away. Skip Schumacher coming up. And if there is ever an at-bat that Schumacher figures to get a pitch to hit in, this would be that at-bat. You can say you have a base open, but he's going to be facing a new pitcher in a left-hander, Zach Duke. They know Votto's behind him. And so Renicky will make the change and bring on Duke to face Schumacher. Game on the line when we return to Great American Ballpark. For your new team, now would be the time for Skip Schumacher. The winning run at third base here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 2 are out. And he'll be facing the left-hander Zach Duke. Duke threw the ball so well when he came to the Reds for a short stint last year, and obviously has continued that stretch this year in a Brewers uniform.
Well, the majority of his major league career was spent as a starter. Started at Pittsburgh for really about 5 or 6 years. It's only the last few years he's been a reliever and now a specialty reliever. Lots of curveballs, especially the lefties.
Schumacher 1 of 11 in his career against Zach Duke. First pitch swinging, fouls it away. And when we mentioned it, there is very little doubt Schumacher is going to get a pitch, if not more, to hit in this at bat, because Duke knows who's standing on deck. Joey Votto in his career against Zach Duke is 11 of 20. Schumacher 0 for 4 today. He's kicking himself right now. Felt like that was something, a pitch he could have done a little bit more with. He's quickly behind 0-2.
Yeah, but the arm action of Duke, you know, he sells that as something faster than what actually comes in there. So the change in speed is equally as effective as a break on that curveball. That's why Schumacher, you know, was a little bit off balance right there.
Winning run at third base here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 0-2 on Schumacher. Dropped down to strike him out on a fastball. So we are off to extra innings. End of 9, a 3-3 game. Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. Extra inning games this year, the Reds are 0-1. So extra innings have been quite kind to the Milwaukee Brewers. They have played 5 of them already and won 4 of the 5. Well, the Reds stranding 2 more. They're in the bottom of the 9th inning. They've left 7 on, and 7 have come. 6 of the 7 have come in 3 innings. And now Sam LaCure comes on from the bullpen, having a great year.
Back-to-back appearances for Sam. He was in last night's ball game, picking up for Johnny Cueto in the last inning, and he has been very, very good. Control has been good. That big looping curveball he throws in there has been right on time.
Davis to lead things off. He'll be followed by the pitcher spot, so a pinch hitter for Duke, and then Segura. And right now, the man standing in the on-deck circle, their longtime regular second baseman, Ricky Weeks, who has lost his job. That is a laser off the wall in left field. I still can't believe this guy tried to bunt his way on the last time up.
Well, you saw the first pitch that LaCure threw in there was a curveball. Didn't get a chance to say it, but that would be the pitch of choice to try to get Chris Davis out on, because we've seen him turn on so many fastballs. And that ball just runs right back over into his wheelhouse.
Jeff Bianchi will come up at bat for Duke, who retires the only batter he faces, striking out Schumacher. And Bianchi, without any doubt, or very little doubt, will be asked to bunt that runner over. He does not have a sacrifice in 38 trips to the plate this year. Bunted in the air, throw to second, and back at second base is Davis.
Great reaction time by Tucker Barnhart there. You know, a lot of people say that a high fastball is the hardest pitch to bunt, and I have never agreed with that. I think a good curveball is not an easy pitch to get down, and Bianchi just showed us why. He kind of stabbed at it. He was out in front of it, and he popped it straight up and nearly into a double play.
All right, so 1 out. Go ahead run at second base here in the Brewers' 10th inning, and now it's Gene Segura. Strike 1. Well, that is one hearty lead Davis is taking out there at second base. Now, he has not attempted a stolen base this year, but that is an enormous lead he is taking. Davis in the minor leagues had some pretty good stolen base seasons, but not used much as a guy to try and steal a base at the big league level. Ball and a strike on Segura, who is grounded out to short. Bounced out to third on a good play by Frazier, ending the 4th inning, and then grounded out to the second baseman Phillips. So if he continues to spread the wealth, this should be a ground ball at Votto. He's playing a good 25 feet off that first base line, trying to cover up the hole on the right side.
Which means LaCure's got to get over there.
Man, you watch this Segura. He is extremely fast and is busting it out of the gate every time he makes contact with the baseball. 2 balls and a strike on Segura, and LeCure to the plate, straight up in the air. Who wants it? Heisey the call and the catch. 2 out in the inning. Logan Schaefer will bat for a second time. He grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. You're a long look in. Now okay's assigned with the rookie Barnhart. Strike 1. Sam LeCure turns 30 years young today and trying to celebrate that birthday with a scoreless 10th inning. And why not celebrate a birthday by picking up a rare win out of the bullpen? One ball, 1 strike to Schaefer. Davis a runner at second base, 2 away in the 10th. And that one is fouled away, so LeCure ahead now to 1 and 2 strikes.
It's a good idea by Tucker Barnhart. Go out there and leave nothing to question. Make sure you know how Sam LeCure, who's a seasoned major league veteran, wants to play this. He's ahead 1 and 2. If you miss with this pitch, where do you want to go on the next one? We've seen it before with the Reds at the plate, but that missed bunt opportunity by the Brewers changes the entire inning. Because Bryan Price is probably thinking the same thing. I'd be playing it entirely different if I had a man at third base right here.
Two and two the count. Oh, LeCure was ready to sprint to the dugout. Does not get the call on that fastball off the inside corner.
Well, that's how much action that ball is. The hitter thinks it's going to hit him. He's willing to take one on the backside to get the first base. So LeCure is ready to go into the dugout.
Davis started this inning with a double off the left field wall. A failed bunt attempt and a pop-up. Then a pop fly to right. Consecutive outs for LeCure. And now Barnhart once more says, hold on a minute. Cozart, the shortstop, wants to come in and know what's going on as well. Well, they have the left-hander Thornburg, or the right-hander Thornburg, in case we are tied. And they have Frankie Rodriguez should the Brewers take the lead. Nowhere near the plate on that 3-2. So you walk Schaefer. And now you have to deal with, right now anyway, one of the best players in the league in Gomez. We have seen Gomez in virtually every at-bat swing hard enough to almost fall down in the first pitch of an at-bat. They throw one over his head that comes all the way to the screen, and both runners are going to advance.
A close one.
Now Davis stands at third. On to second base on that wild pitch goes Schaefer. Gomez 2 of 6 in his career against Sam LeCure. 1-0 pitch. They come in back-to-back pitches in this at-bat to Gomez.
I guess the only way you can keep him from swinging at the first pitch is throw it behind him.
Three game, top of the 10th inning here at Great American Ballpark. LeCure, the 1-1. And now he gets ahead as he comes inside for a third straight pitch. Barnard trying to buy an out there by getting to that ball, and boy, does he move quickly out from behind that plate. So nimble. Look how low he sets up. Second and third, 2 away, a ball and 2 strikes. LeCure against Carlos Gomez. Got him swinging to end the inning. Happy birthday, Sam LeCure. Now, can the Reds get him a win here in the bottom of the 10th inning? The Reds and the Brewers are even at 3 apiece. And Ron Renneke will dip back into that bullpen. He'll bring on Tyler Thornburg, who we saw allow 2 hits, a walk, and 2 runs in 1 inning of work last night. And it's interesting to note that here he'll face Votto to begin the inning. Brandon Phillips would follow him. That's where Thornburg came into the game last night, was against Brandon Phillips. He allowed a double. And then after retiring Jay Bruce on a productive out, pulled to the right side, it was Todd Frazier, who's due up 4th in this inning, that had an RBI double against Thornburg.
Well, he also threw 2 wild pitches to bring Phillips in from second base. So he has had streaks of wildness.
Votto 2 out of 4 today, a single and a double. That first fastball swung on and fouled out of play. Strike 1 to Joey Votto. Well, the man who waits on deck, we're here in the 10th inning thanks to him. His home run, Brandon Phillips, came with 1 out of the 8th inning against Brandon Kinsler. That breaking ball stayed high in the strike zone, but a strike nonetheless, and Votto quickly in an 0-2 hole. If you're wondering, Joey Votto in his career 3 times has ended a game with a home run. But it has been a while since Votto has homered. He hit all 4 of his home runs in a 6-day time frame, right after being moved into that number 2 spot in the batting order. That one swung on and fouled away, and that's closing in on nearly a month ago. Reds made that flop beginning April, I beg your pardon, April the 13th. And Votto went from the 3 spot to the number 2 hole, and he's been there every game since. And Votto is called out on strikes, and he disagrees with Hunter Wendelstadt.
He's had a few, I think, disagreements. First time he's actually turned to talk to him about it, and normally it's just a body language that you read on Joey Votto, but Box Tracks has it at the bottom of the knees.
Well, Brandon Phillips tied it. Can he win it with one big crack to the bat? Hit the home run off Kinsler to straightaway center field. His 2nd of the year. First pitch breaking ball, low and away. Reds only have 1 player left on their bench. That would be Neftali Soto.
Trying to sneak a fastball by him. Anytime Gomez goes through the center field wall, you're a little worried. But that one far enough back, in fact, it hit off the glass of the batter's eye. Even Plastic Man couldn't have gotten that one.
And 1 on Brandon Phillips. Started 2 and could not hold up. Fouled back out of plate, even a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Heisey next. We're in the bottom of the 10th inning. A win for the Reds. They take 3 of 4 from Ron Renicke's team. And would wrap up a 4-2 homestand. A loss, it's 500 against the Brewers and 500 against the Cubbies. In the air, foul territory, and room for the big, tall first baseman Oberbay. Chris Heisey takes ball 1. Heisey has swung the bat much better these last 2 at-bats than he has the entire series. Had a single in the left field in the 6th inning and a line drive to Gomez, who caught it in the 8th. Up under his chin, 2-0.
Well, both of the pitches that we've seen that have been very tight, that one and the one by LeCure to Gomez, those are attention getters. Not necessarily only for the batter in the batter's box either. But for both dugouts.
And there's a 4-pitch walk to Heisey. Now, we mentioned that Todd Frazier had a chance to see Thornburg last night. Hit a double off of him into the right center field gap. You do that right here and right now, and you have a chance to witness saying Heisey runs well at first base. Frazier waiting. And it's in the dirt, ball 1. And that one is ripped down the line. Heisey on his way to third. Picked up by Davis. They're going to wave him around. Here comes the throw. Reds win. Todd Frazier, the game-winning double down the left field line, and gives Sam LeCure a win on his 30th birthday. And the Reds take 3 out of 4 from the Milwaukee Brewers. How about that? Well, what else would it be, our Miller time moment? Are you kidding me? My man Lukey just said Frazier's going to win it with a base hit.
Well, the Reds had the perfect guy on the base paths. The fastest player on this team, other than Billy Hamilton, might be Chris Heisey. And the throw to the plate, he beats that with a slide, but that rocket shot that Frazier rifles down the left field line, wins it in extras. Steve Smith waving him in, and that's all she wrote.
All right, let's go downstairs to Jeff Piccolo standing by with Todd Frazier.
Thanks a lot, guys. Boy, you talk about exciting. And, Todd, you hit it, and I heard a scream. What did you say?
I said, let's go get on your damn horse right when I got out of the box. I was pretending to be the third base coach, just screaming. So glad Heisey's got some wheels, and just a great overall victory for the team.
How much did it help facing him last night as well? You got a big double last night off Thornburg.
Yeah, you know, probably the second or third time I've ever faced him. Knew he's got a heavy fastball. Understand he's got a good off-speed pitch, but when you're behind in the count, you know, you got to throw that heat, and you got to be ready for it.
Todd, you take 3 out of 4 against this team that was so hot coming here, the best record in all of baseball. What's that mean about this Reds team?
And we're resilient. We play hard. We understand each other's, you know, positive energy. We bring it every day to the field. Hang with us. We're coming. So first month's out of the way, and now we got 3 out of 4 here. Couldn't ask for a better starting month of May.
You guys are getting healthy. You get Schumacher back. It looks like Aroldis might be back next week, too.
Heck yeah.
Look out for this team, right?
Heck yeah. We hit the ball hard probably 10, 15 times today. You know, most of them mad people, but, you know, when you hit the ball hard, good things will happen. Just very exciting. And, you know, pitching performance by Simon, everybody. It's just a lot of fun right now.
Man, this place is going crazy. They really love you, don't they?
Yeah, no, I love them back.
Congratulations. Todd Frazier tonight, Tommy. Man, I tell you what, he hit that ball, and I heard him down there yell, "Go!" as loud as he could, and Heisey never even slowed down, guys. Back up to you.
Oh, what an exciting weekend series it was, Chris. Highlighted by great pitching by the Cincinnati Reds starting rotation. And that continued for Alfredo Simon, but Todd Frazier, the hero. Reds Live will begin next. Reds winners, they beat the Brew Crew 3 out of 4.